GameStop stock price is in a very strong spot. We have seen stock price get a very strong push to a very big area of value. We're currently getting thin within a doji candle within the last trading day. Are we going to see that explosive breakout come next week, pressing towards $24.50, $27? Or are the bears going to reject at the spot for a short selling opportunity? My name is Dylan from Dylan Trades. We're going to break down and analyze GME GameStop stock price. As always, first stemming to the weekly to get a very long-term perspective in stock price. So first and foremost, guys, GameStop is one of those big boy stocks. I mean, right when you flip to it on the weekly analysis, you're seeing big spikes up 60% within 12, 13 weeks, right? A very strong movement here. Then pulling back towards these $22, $23, $20 levels. This very big pocket of support, hence this very nice blue pocketed shade of value here, where we have seen a lot of support down at these lower $20 levels. And that's continued to be the story over the past few weeks. We did pull back to that after a very massive fake breakout, off confluencing on this incredible ascending trend line, which is the base for a yearly structure. Okay, we're not going to get super into this, guys, as we could make a whole lecture and study and lesson after this. But if you break an area value this big, you could drop a significant amount, perhaps back down to $10. And we did see GameStop drop pretty quick, trending down to that $20 level before immediately reversing with a strong green bar, pushing up with a lot of presence. This is a sign that you're going to want to see after breaking a very big level. As often with stocks, guys, stocks are weird. You can obviously, have a clean breakout, but sometimes then not, you're going to see a break of a key level, jamble around, then push back up, and then from here is the real movement. And I do think GameStop is in a weekly analysis perspective to potentially get a liquidity run, where we've seen a very strong buyer base being broken by some pretty bearish candles, flipping red to green with a strong abnormal wide bar, now pressing within a wide bar with a little wick on top. We will follow this next week to see how stock price does, but you do need to see a press over this ascending trend line, right? This very long-term kind of structure. Once again, guys, we've seen very many of these structures to play out over the past few years. If we see that ultimate upside back over, it's more long-term statement here. We're working with a massive squeeze within a couple of years, which last time this did happen, it brought GameStop from $14, $13 back towards $65. So there has been a ton of energy over the past few years. The sellers pushing stock price down, the buyers being relentless. Okay, we just seen a ton of squeeze, and it did appear we were going to break the last few years of this confluence, which we've clearly seen. But the buyers are now holding a base within a very beautiful liquidity sweep. Once again, if broken above, you could target right back at that former high. Boom, like that, $29. And you're looking at these upper levels. We have 34 retests and perhaps even broken above. So we will be following over the course of the next few weeks. Can GME GameStop stock price get over $23? Reclaim this very strong ascending support, which has been an exact base for stock price over the past few years to make that strong liquidity run. This is the more strong probability likely to happen. We will follow this very closely moving into the next few days and or weeks. With that being said, we're now going to flip to the daily. All right, this is very good for the medium term, and straight away looking at the daily, even the untrained eye can clearly see that we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green days in a row, and the current last 3 days have been more or less compressing energy. Okay, we have seen some pretty nice strong signs here with a hammer candle, bit of a wide bar, okay, with a wick on top. And now we've seen a doji candle, which does form indecision within the market. But we're showing this energy building clump of just buyers and sellers accumulating, right? Battling. If broken above the top, you will see a quick pop. Really as simple as that. And it does come down to that from a daily analysis. Are we going to see stock price roll over at this very obvious $23 level and, take a detour, pull back a little bit, perhaps then bounce later, or we'll see what happens and analyze stock price at that current time and date, okay? Or we're going to get the breakout. And as of right now, we do believe that we're going to get that. Within the last updated video, a couple of days ago, we did mention when stock price was pressed at the top of this descending trend line, being this pretty weird wedge structure. This is a pretty abnormal trend, but we have seen GameStop do similar things. Okay, we've seen a pretty much identical structure breakout in the middle point of September around earnings, getting a back test of that, pushing from 24 to splat at $28 before reversing. So I do think there's a very meaningful, trend theory here we cannot ignore. You have to keep this in mind with the technicals. If $23 is broken above, these next resistance levels up here being 24.50 doesn't pose much threat, right? 25, 27, 29 doesn't really start to get to serious resistance from that $27 level. So if we can break above $23 from a more medium term perspective, I am expecting this next leg to happen from this strong bounce, then getting pretty parabolic for a short term next few weeks. So that is the prediction on the channel. You could say a bold prediction. We will see what happens with stock price. Once again, GME has been a very choppy mover. Okay, once again, very, chip shop activity, then boom, it goes. Okay, so this can be delayed action, and that's why we did predict ultimately a few day pause within our last updated video for one of the possibilities, and we have seen that. So we'll continue to see where this cluster of daily candles goes over the next few days, and this will be a great sign. But as of right now, you're seeing buyer control at a key level with sustained volume holding green presence. Very strong sign here. I would say a 8 to 9 out of 10 probability you will see that $23 get taken out within the next few days for a nice pushback up to 24.50 being the next test at this blow off top and resistance level. Alrighty guys, so with all this being said, now we have to jump to the fun part, the hourly analysis. This is good for the short term, and you always want to look at the hourly, okay? And straight away we've seen that very strong liquidity. Okay, GameStop is typically one of those stocks where it kind of just chip chops, doesn't make too meaningful movements to the up or the downside until big volatility jumps into play. We were trending down until hitting that $20 level and making a very strong push, and now halting ever so slightly with a small pullback seen on the hourly analysis. And I do believe it is a time where, once again, you could see the market maybe dull out a bit, get a little bit consolidation, building some energy, pausing for sustained activity or a breakout. And to do with the context of the situation, everything that we mentioned from the weekly, the daily, right, being at this daily descending channel, right, starting to get the breakout over that, this strong level right here. Okay, all these little signs are leading to a ton of energy and a ton of friction. So going back to the hourly and centering with that knowledge, likely a situation where we will see that $23 level getting taken out once again and seeing the official breakout. Did see a false breakout, a liquidity sweep attempt, okay, to end the day today, where it does appear a breakout ensues and then pulls down lower. But I do think that the buyers will step right back on track come the next trading day and get that upside. Keep an eye on stock price. We've had a very linear trajectory, moving up, trending higher. Once again, if pulled back, not the worst thing in the world, but you just want to see stock price continue to make these higher lows and higher highs, basing a very strong structure and trend to make nice upward trajectory. So as of right now, we've analyzed the medium, long, and short-term analysis within GME. From a weekly perspective, we see stock price desperately needs to claim over $23 and finish the job and really just put the foot on the necks of the short sellers and get a very quick squeeze right back to $27, targeting these upper highs up here. And really that is a shallow price target. There could be a lot more juice left to squeeze. We will follow that and analyze that if that happens live, but it does appear the buyers will get it with an instantaneous red to green squeeze, a very beautiful phenomenon. Now going back to the daily, we've seen a very strong press at this descending channel, just a very classic phenomenon for a bearish stock getting a reversal, right? We're right at the top looking for that upside. I do think we're going to get that. Current candle structure is very thin. Doesn't appear to be building energy for that upside at $23, and the hourly just strength. Okay, simple as that. Not too much to be taken away from here. GME's in a great spot here, guys. Keep an eye on that $23 level. That is going to be the mantra for these updates until stock price breaks above, rejects to, etc. If you guys found any value with the video today, dropping a sub and a like. GME has been in a pretty lackluster trend over the past months, right? Just chopping around ever since that big gap down at that $29 level with bad news. But I do think that GME technically is in a strong spot to get that liquidity sweep from a longer term perspective, giving strong term, short term potential and potential long term if they step up. Have a good one, guys. Take care, trade smart, and